Before the Week 13 slate of games, I did my weekly pick video, and in that video, I picked the 49ers to beat the Bears. The San Francisco 49ers that going into that game were 1-10. The San Francisco 49ers that were 1-10. The Bears, who were supposedly even at 3-8, a better than you would expect bad team that would have home field advantage, that has a defense that should be able to give the 49ers problems, even with Garoppolo making his first start in the 49ers uniform. It's the type of game you would look at and you would say that the Chicago Bears somehow, some way, should be able to win this game. Somehow, some way. And in a game where they got a punt return for a touchdown, won the turnover battle, and held the opposing team out of the end zone, the Chicago Bears found a way to lose at home to the previously 1-10 San Francisco 49ers. The Chicago Bears are now 3-9. If you had any delusions about John Fox and this staff being right for the job, specifically on the offensive side of the ball, those delusions are no longer grandeur. Those delusions have been shattered. If you feel like this team's rebuilding project is heading still in the right direction, then you are certifiably nuts. They couldn't even beat the crappy 49ers. Think about it this way. As you watch Jimmy Garoppolo far outshine anything Trubisky did on Sunday, the Chicago Bears allowed the 49ers kicker to come in and have his revenge game. This past Sunday was the Robbie Gould revenge game, for crying out freaking loud. And don't get me wrong, I think about it as a Cubs fan. When the time came, I was completely and totally for a complete and total rebuild. I talked about it for a few years before they actually started it with the hiring of Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer. I'm like, this team is just wasting money. They suck. They're going to win just enough games to fool themselves into thinking they're better than they are. They will make bad moves as a result, and then they will get to the point where they really, really suck, and they have a bunch of bad contracts on the books, see Alfonso Soriano and so forth. There's a point in time where they needed to totally and completely rethink and redo the way they do things. And I was willing to wait, and I was patient, because I knew the people in charge of the baseball operations knew what the hell they were doing, had those chops of knowing what the hell they were doing, and I was confident, like, all these years I've spent as a Cubs fan that have largely been wasted, there is gold at the end of the rainbow. It may take a few years to get there, but they will get there. And I believe they would get there. And I knew they would get there eventually. And being patient and waiting for the rebuild as it slowly started to come together, ultimately it culminated in the ending of a 108-year curse. The Chicago Cubs won the 2016 World Series. And now, even though they didn't make it back to the World Series this past season, they are in the mix again to make it back in 2018. And the Cubs are in the position where they could be a consistent, viable contender for the next several years to come. The Blackhawks did the same thing. Bill Wirtz died so the Blackhawks could thrive, and that's exactly what happened. And the Blackhawks finally changed the way they did their operation. They put smart people in charge of the hockey operations, and obviously it helps being able to get guys like Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews, no question about it. But you found those franchise pieces. You had that good fortunate timing to be able to get those guys, were smart enough to take those guys, and then you built around them. And lo and behold, after all those years of me sitting there watching those Mike Smith put together teams that were garbage, the Dirk Grahams and the Alpo Sahonin crappy teams, I've seen the Blackhawks win 3 Stanley Cups. So I'm used to rebuilding projects. Unfortunately, I'm also used to rebuilding projects that are 20 years and going strong, like the Chicago Bulls, which has been a mess since the Jordan days ended. So I've seen both sides of it. But I'm willing to put up with a rebuilding project if I feel like it's going down the right path. I have zero confidence in this current Chicago Bears rebuilding project. Again, they allowed Robbie Gould to come in and have a revenge game. I don't know how many times in NFL history we've ever had a team where they got a special teams touchdown, won the turnover battle, held the opposing offense without a touchdown, and lost the game. And did it at home, mind you. The offense scored 7 points. Trubisky looks as in over his head as he was in his first start of the year, frankly. And I'm not trying to rail on the kid. I'm not trying to bash the kid. And I'm not trying to sit there and already say that he doesn't have it and he sucks and this and that. It's way too early for that. But we have not seen growth. We have not seen progression. And we can blame receivers until our assholes bleed. But the fact is, this coaching staff doesn't know what the hell they're doing on the offensive side of the ball. And there's a chance they will end up ruining this kid, yes, even after just one season. It's that bad. And you watch, and there's just no life on this team. There's some fight, but not a lot. And ultimately, again, their coaching staff continuously puts them in situations where they lose games they should win. Like this Bears team, better coached, should have 2 to 4 more victories this year than they do. And they're still not a very good team. But that's coaching. That's flat out coaching. From challenging plays that should have been first downs that end up being touchbacks, to putting your offense in a situation where you consistently run on first down, run on second down, and then you're throwing on third and long, to where you become massively and incredibly predictable, to where you lack in originality and creativity in finding ways to get Trubisky a rhythm, to give him confidence, because you failed to show any confidence in him. Why in the hell should the team show any confidence in him? And most importantly of all, why should Mitchell Trubisky have any confidence in himself? And you let the 49ers come in, this team that's worse than you, one of the few teams in the league that's worse, and they beat you. You let your former kicker, Robbie Gould, who you couldn't wait to get rid of, as you have now had to replace the guy you replaced him with in Connor Barth with Cairo Santos. You watched as Robbie Gould was good as gold, hit on 5 field goals, including the game winner, and beat your ass. And it's just, as I watched this game, it was so goddamn boring. It was so lame. It was so much of what I've come to expect out of the Bears for the past 20-25 seasons for the most part. And I was thinking about it Sunday, and I'm just sitting there saying, I have spent so much time watching this team over the years. How much time have I wasted? And with time being the most precious commodity that we have, in a lost season like this, with a head coach I do not like, with a head coach I do not respect, with a head coach that I did not want to ever be hired to begin with, and yet this organization still continues to hang on to them, even though this team is 3-9, even though they have done nothing to help develop Trubisky, even though this team has not taken any step forward, and in fact they may have regressed even from year 2 to year 3 of this team's coaching leadership, yet they still stand by him. I just wonder, why am I still watching this team? Why am I supporting this crap? And the simple answer is, in case you haven't seen it already, I'm not going to anymore this year. After all these years, I feel like it's my right. I've sunk so much time into this team. I've wasted so much time hoping this team could finally figure it out, that as long as John Fox is still the head coach of the Chicago Bears, I refuse to watch another game. So, unfortunately for you, unless Fox gets fired in one of the next couple of weeks, that means there's going to be no more weekly Bears game recaps, because, again, I'm not going to be watching. And you might say to yourself, well, wouldn't you want them to lose at this point, and wouldn't you want them to get a high pick? At this point in time, what difference does it make? Because how am I supposed to feel like I have a ton of confidence that the leadership in the front office is going to make the right calls and the right decisions any goddamn ways? No. I just think about, as we enter into holiday season, spending 3 hours plus potentially each of the next 4 Sundays watching the Bears, and I think about it and I'm like, I've just got better things to do with my time. I've got better things to do with my life. And if they're not pleasing me, and if all it's doing is just getting me worked up and angry and pissed off because it is yet another wasted season by this stupid-ass organization, why would I continue to be a part of that? Why would I continue to support it when it is so glaringly obvious to me that John Fox will not be back in 2018? Why delay the inevitable? Why not let Vic Fangio or somebody else on that coaching staff not named Dowell Loggins have 4 games? Why has Dowell Loggins not been fired? Why has John Fox not been fired? These are important, significant questions that are not getting answered and not getting addressed because, again, this team is afraid of making bold moves. This team is afraid of doing the right thing. And the bottom line is the right thing is John Fox does not care, so therefore we should not care as an organization if he is still there, and we should send his happy old broken down ass packing. Thanks for nothing, you piece of crap. Move the hell on with your life. I just can't watch as this coaching staff spends the next 4 games trying to totally ruin the kid that we hope could be the franchise savior, because God knows they need it. God knows the Bears deserve one after all the years of wasted on all these quarterbacks. I don't want to see what they do with Trubisky. I'm tired of watching this pathetic offense. I'm tired of watching this defense that should be better than it is, that frankly isn't. I'm just tired of watching this team. I'm tired of spending 3 hours waiting for them to lose and not even play an entertaining style of football. This is like old school Bears football, but the Special Olympics version. It's retarded. They suck. And that's the whole problem. I don't want to see Bears football anymore. This, what we've seen this year, is very reminiscent of so much of what I've seen throughout my adult life as a Bears fan and my preteen and teen years as a Bears fan. This is Bears football. Crappy offense, overrated defense, losing far more games than they win. With a front office and ownership group that doesn't know what the hell they're doing. So as of now, as it looks, because God forbid this team would actually do the right thing and send John Fox and Dowell Loggins and that offensive coaching staff packing, this will be the last Bears game that I watch this year. This will be the last Bears game that I talk about this year. And to that I say, good. And this is not a decision I make lightly. Because I will tell you, for anybody questioning my loyalty, I have based my life, especially my adult life, around being able to watch Bears games on Sundays or Mondays or Thursdays or whenever they are. I use holiday vacation time to be able to watch games during days that I would previously work. I intentionally work jobs where I don't have to work Sunday because I want to be able to watch my Chicago Bears play. Do not ever question my loyalty to this team. Do not ever question my love for this team. Do not you dare ever question my frickin' passion for this team. Because I've done as much to build my life around this piece of shit organization as anybody, as you know. And there comes a point in a time where enough is enough. It's not just that they're bad. It's the way that they're bad. And that at this moment, I just cannot continue to sink any more time into an organization that doesn't get it. Now, once the off season happens, and hopefully mercifully this coaching staff is let go and big changes happen, hopefully, it'll be a different story, and I'll be looking forward to 2018. But right now the season's lost anyways. What would I be watching for? Why would I be watching? Nah. The Bears have robbed me of too much time over too many years to support this shit show anymore this year.